What up? Welcome to my Unreal Engine tutorial. Please like and subscribe. Okay, in this tutorial, I'll show you how I made this multiplayer animation montage system. It works well with dancing animations because you can press a key to start looping the animation and then press the same key again to stop. We could also set up multiple animations for this system. Look at them go. They're all dancing. And I'm going to include these free animations. I basically just retargeted them from Mixamo. But if you have fancy animations like this pack I bought, you could use those. So I go ahead and use any animations you want. I'm going to go ahead and blast through it pretty fast because it's actually a pretty simple system. But if you're doing multiplayer stuff, I expect you to be somewhat familiar with Blueprint. All the code's pretty much in the player, and then we're doing a little bit with the montage itself. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, I originally made this project in Unreal Engine 4. But, I was like, let's just do it in Unreal Engine 5. I think everything will work the same. A lot of people are switching over. So let's do it. Let's open Unreal Engine 5. And then go to Games, and we'll use the third-person example map. And then give your project a name, and then hit Create. I have one open already. I'll open tutorials. Okay, Unreal Engine 5 has the cool content drawer. You can hit Control Space. And we'll go into the mannequin folder, and then in animations, we'll take the animations we have here, and they're just retargeted from Mixamo. Look for them in the description. And once you have them downloaded, just drag them into the animations folder. Be sure to tell it to use the default mannequin skeleton, the Unreal Engine one. Import all. May take a sec. Alright, great. Once you have them, we're going to make a animation montage. So let's select this one just called Dancing. Right click it, and then go to create Anim montage. And we'll just keep this name, I'm just gonna make it, I'm gonna get rid of this mix-up part. I'm just gonna make it dancing_montage. We'll go ahead and open that up. Okay, with the montage open, we'll go over to this window here, asset browser, and we'll add all of the animations into this one montage. And it already has the first one, so I'll click this one. Add this next one. Add the last one. Go ahead and pause that. And we'll go ahead and we'll just save this for now. And I want to go ahead and get this working in the character. So we'll save this, go ahead and close it. Alright, next we just need to do a couple of quick things so that we can get this event to fire off in the character. First we're going to add an action mapping. We need to go to Project Settings. Go to Input. We're going to add an action mapping. We'll just call it Emote or Dance or whatever. Even if you have like a healing animation, this would work as well. Just put that in there. And I'll just set it up to the 1 key. If you press this little icon here, and then you press the key command that you want, it'll automatically set it, or you can search for it in here. We'll go ahead and save that, and then next we need to find your animation blueprint that you're using for the character. So I think the default one is maybe it's in animations. Yeah, okay. We need to open it up. And at the main Anim graph, I like to click forward here. We just need to add what's called slot, default slot. And really this is just something to get the animation montage to work. Search slot, slot default slot. And you just need to have this set up. Compile and save it. This part's important. And we can close that for now. All right, and with that all set up, I think that's everything we need. And now we can go into the player character. So open the player character that you're using for your project. If it's the default project, you're going to go to third person BP, blueprints, and then open the third person character. I'm just going to go down here. And then we're going to right click. We're going to find that event we made for the input action. I think it was called Emote. Yep. And then we're going to tell it to play the Anim montage, the animation montage. We're going to play montage. Yeah, it's play montage. We're going to choose the montage we made, the dancing montage. And for the skeletal mesh component, just plug this in. Might not have to do that, but I'll do that just in case. Compile and save. And if this was one player, this would be fine. That's all you have to do. You go to play. We hit 1, and it plays the montage. We can still move around, which we'll address. But this will not work if we had 2 players. Okay, and in order to test 2 players, go up here where it says play. And net mode, you're going to want to play as client and put at least a couple players in. Just find this person here. Get this window going here. If you can see, it's not replicating the montage. Go on this side of him. Woo. All right, now let's get it to replicate. In order to do that, let's go to the character. Let's get back in that character. We're going to have to make a couple of new custom events. This one will be called server play montage. And over in the details, at replicate, we want to put run on server. So it basically, it's going to come out of the button now, and we'll call that event. So now when we press the button, it will make this server event fire. And then in order to take this server event and play it on all the clients, we're going to use a multicast. So let's go ahead and add another custom event. I'm going to call this multi play montage. And over here, instead of run on server, now we'll choose multicast. And so that's the basic thinking. We fire the event, make sure it runs on the server, and then after we have the right information, then we'll play it on all the clients through a multicast. Okay, and we can go ahead and test this on 2 players now. It's just the montage will go here, and then we'll call the multi-cast event. And now we go over here. It's replicating. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go back into the character, and I'll set it up so that it doesn't let us move. And it'll select one of these animations and loop them. So let's hop right back into the character. Okay, now we want to run a couple checks before we can play the montage. And when you do that, you want to do it on the server. You want to check on the server and then play the montage. We're going to need a couple of variables. The first one we need to do is to check if the player is currently looping the montage, if they've already pressed 1. So I'm just going to call it looping montage, question mark. Like, is it looping? Add another variable. This one's going to be can move question mark. And by default, you're going to want to compile this. And then by default, we want to set this to true. I'm going to want one more variable, can jump. And it is also going to be true by default. And then in the movement part of your character, see if we can find it here. Just look for movement input. Here it is. Slide this out. Slide this out. And this is kind of useful for other things I've noticed in my games, like if there's a cinematic that happens, or there's just some event where you don't want the player to move. Maybe there's something happening to the camera. I like to pop these right in here, add a couple branches. Hook it up just like this. Now if we do any code in the character, we can do a can move check. It's really useful. Let's do the same thing for can jump. And I think on can jump, or here's the jump. We could just do one check on pressed. Very nice. So now at the server, we're gonna disconnect this, and it's gonna start with a branch, and this is where it's gonna be checking if the montage is looping. Or let's check if it's not looping. You can add a not boolean. Make sure the not's hooked up. Sometimes it's easier to read for me, so is it not looping? If it's not looping, we'll go ahead and play. And if it is looping, we're gonna stop the animation. But the thing about this though is we're gonna want the animation to stop across all clients. So we're actually gonna need another multicast event, and on false we're going to call that multicast event to stop all the animations. Let's do another custom event. Multi stop montage. And then make sure that this is a multicast. And Unreal Engine has a function for stopping animation montages. So we just gotta look it up. Stop anim montage. And for right now, we'll have it set up to where we'll set that to stop. there's ways that we could make this work for multiple Anim montages, but for now we'll just set it like this. So now at false, we'll call that multicast stop. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. So press the 1 key. It checks if we've already pressed it, essentially. If we've not already pressed it, we start playing. And then if we have pressed it, we press it again, and that's how it will stop. Alright, before we could get this to actually work, we need to tell the montage that these animations are looping. And also what section to start at. You see this part right here? We're going to need to do some stuff inside the montage, so let's browse to it. This is a cool way to browse to stuff. Oh, cool, it opens up in here. We'll just open up the dancing montage. And what we're going to need to do is make a section for each animation here. So I'm going to make it easy. I'm just going to number them 1, number this one 2. I'm right clicking and selecting create new montage section name, and you want it to line up exactly with the beginning of the new animation or else it clips. This one's gonna be 3. Just want to make sure it snaps there. Okay. 4. Okay, cool. We'll save that. And then what took me a while to figure out is if you want it to loop, we're going to make sure you're on montage sections right here. And with 1 selected, it's basically saying it goes from 1 to 2 to 3. With this arrow, we need to tell it to go back to 1, and I'll create a little loopy guy. Do the same thing on that. Make 3 where it loops, and make sure 4 goes back to 4. So that's just telling it that each section is its own, and they will loop. Definitely need to save that. I'm pretty sure we can close it now. Yes. Let's go back to the character, because I think we could finish up now. Okay, now that we've fixed that, you need to drag this starting section into the event here. Boom, it'll create a input. Now we want it, as you can see, it shows up here, and this is where we could put that data. And so the server will grab this data and then display it on all the clients. That way it's the same section. If you didn't do it this way, just pick a random one for everybody. Now to pick a random section, I'm going to drag off of this and say make literal name. It's just like it sounds. You type the section name exactly as is, it's case sensitive, into this node. So if we need 4 sections, I'll Control C, paste 3 times. This will be 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to make an array. So drag off this guy, say make array. You're going to add 3 more pins. Boom, boom, boom. And then off of the array here, if you type random, there's a cool node here that's random array item. And it'll just pick a random one. Plug that in. Perfect. Oh, that looks kind of nice. Okay, cool. OCD. Alright, and then once it begins playing the montage, that's when we need to set looping to true. Now it's started looping. And then when we stop it, we set looping to false, just like that. It seems to work if it's not replicated, but go ahead and make sure these variables here are replicated, just because we're doing multiplayers to be safe here. And we also want the player not to be able to move. So when the animation starts, let's set can move to false. No movement. And then set it to true here. And we'll do the same with jump. And I think it should work after this. And another thing though, on the montage here, you might have a game where the animation will get interrupted. Maybe you get hit or you take damage. And in that case, on interrupted, go ahead and fire off the stop. And if you have a animation montage that isn't looping, this is when you'd stop it as well. So it won't hurt to do that. All right, let's test this bad boy. Let's go. Let's see what's up. Woo. Boom. Yeah, and it works. Hey, I did a thing, and you did too. This is my first tutorial. It's kind of cringe looking back at it. Hopefully I'll get better at it. I don't like the sound of my voice, but please like and subscribe. Maybe I'll get better, and we can make Unreal Engine video games. Yeah.